Hi everyone, I'm Francis and I am a qualified IELTS examiner. Today, I'm going to be giving Jackson Wang his IELTS speaking test. I'm going to be asking him a few IELTS questions. We'll listen to his answers together. And then at the end, I'll tell you all what his IELTS speaking score would be. So make sure you keep watching for that. Now, unfortunately, Jackson couldn't be here at Last Minute English headquarters to have his IELTS speaking test in person. He told me his flight was cancelled, so we have to use an old video interview to get our results. Now, Jackson's score is based on the whole of the 3-minute interview, not just the little parts that I'll show you. So make sure to watch that whole video as well. You can find the link down here. So let's go for question 1. Jackson, welcome to the IELTS speaking test. My first question, what sports did you participate in when you were young?
I started gymnastics when I was 7, and then I changed to from gymnastics to fencing.
Thanks, Jackson. So everyone, you can see already that Jackson's English is really, really good. So as an IELTS examiner, I'm very impressed. I'm thinking, probably some of the higher scores are 7, 8, or 9. But he did make one tiny mistake that you might have noticed. Instead of saying gymnastics with an S, he didn't add the S, he said gymnastic. Now, gymnastic is the adjective, but he was using it as a noun. So it's a little bit of a grammar mistake, but nothing very serious. Now, my next question for Jackson, how long have you been interested in music?
Music's been always my, my hobby, because it gave me motivation to everything, because it helps me like in every perspective.
Okay, thank you, Jackson. So everyone, you can see that Jackson's fluency, his pronunciation are still really good. But in this clip, he made 2 small mistakes with his sentence structure. The first one, he said, music's been always my hobby. And it should be, music's always been my hobby. He also said, it gave me motivation to everything. But it should be, it gave me motivation to do everything or to do anything. We need to add a verb in there. Now, these are very small mistakes, but an IELTS examiner is going to notice them, and they can be the difference between maybe a level 9 or a level 8 score. Then we're going to move to question 3. So Jackson, when did you start making music?
I think it was when I was 14. I was just messing with my computer, and there was this application called a GarageBand. I started there.
So here, Jackson has done really well. His grammar is very impressive here. Why? It's because he's telling a story in the past, and he's remembering to use the past simple. So he says started, and he says was for 3 different sentences. He doesn't miss any of the past tense verbs that he needs to include. So he's controlling that very, very well. And that's great because it's a mistake that many people make when they take the IELTS speaking test. Very often part 2 is all about the past tense. So Jackson here is definitely improving his grammar score. Now Jackson, my final question for you. Why did you continue making music?
It's just that as more time that I spent on music, it just motivated me more and more. Like I just feel like I actually really love music.
Now in this answer, Jackson has lost a little bit in terms of his fluency and his grammar. First of all, you can see that he's trying to make that sentence, but he can't find the right way to express himself, and he has some pauses. And then he chooses a way that's not quite right. He says, as more time that I spend on music, but it should be the more time that I spend on music. Now, it's not a huge problem, but it's also not a mistake that a Band 9 student would make. So Jackson has finished his IELTS speaking test. I'm going to give him his score. First of all, for his vocabulary, I'm going to give him an 8 because he uses some really good vocabulary and his everyday, daily language is really accurate. It's really very well done. But I feel like he's missing a little bit of higher level vocabulary to be able to get a level 9. But 8, still very good. Next is his grammar. So his grammar, we've talked a little bit about it. Some of his sentences are not quite right. He makes a few little mistakes, but also his past tense is really good. So again, he's going to get an 8. Pronunciation. His pronunciation is excellent. It's basically at the level of a native speaker. There are a few words where it doesn't exactly sound right, but overall it's really, really good, particularly in words like wanna. He's not saying want to, he's saying wanna. So I'm going to give him a 9, full score for this one. And then finally, fluency. So again, he's fluent most of the way through, but there are a few pauses where he can't quite find the right way to say something. So 8. And that means that his overall score would be, let's say, an 8 or more likely an 8.5. Very, very good English, not perfect, but very impressive. Finally, let me give you my takeaways for Jackson's English. So I think he does a really good job. His best part is his pronunciation, and he almost feels like a native speaker because of how accurate his pronunciation is, particularly when he contracts words like want to into wanna. That's a really important skill that we can all learn from Jackson. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video useful, please remember to click the like button and also subscribe. And also remember, if you are preparing for your IELTS test, we have some great courses to help you prepare. And we also have classes with real IELTS examiners to help you get the best score possible. So if you're interested, you can send us a message for more information. Finally, we're going to finish with one more question for Jackson. So Jackson, what advice do you have for other people preparing to take the IELTS test?
Always be hungry at what you want to do. Take risk, work hard, and have no regrets.